Is it just me, or does it seem like we are living in a fever dream? It does seem that way to me. What is a fever dream? Well, if you haven't heard that term before, it's like an impossible, strange, and surreal experience that can last for an instant or a series of moments. And in this video, I want to talk about how life is seeming more and more like a psychedelic trip through the surreal. Things don't seem real. Things don't seem possible. And you don't have to look very far for this, right? So I've been thinking about this, and I know I'm not alone. And when I have these senses that something's happening and I know I'm not the only one experiencing them, I want to make a video about it because I know I'm speaking to someone who understands this stuff. So when I say that life is seeming more and more like a detached, fever dream type of experience, what I mean is the more I pay attention to what's around me, the more I do things like watch the news, which is a bad idea to begin with, the more I pay attention to the way that people are treating each other, the less I believe what I'm perceiving. The more it seems not possible that this is all happening. And I can't be alone in this. So, you don't have to look very far to see some examples of what I'm talking about, right? So, the news. Flip on the news or read some headlines, particularly here in the United States, and you will be presented with impossibility. What is happening right now? This doesn't seem real, Like, I'm finding myself in a place of perpetual incredulity. Like, I'm watching the events transpire around me. I'm watching, rules get broken. I'm watching billionaires loot the American public and thieve the public trust. I'm not going to get too political in this video because that's not my bag, but suffice it to say that so much of what seems to be happening around me and us just doesn't seem real. This feels like a bad dream. And as I said, I know I'm not the only one. And, news and the media is only one source of what I'm talking about here. I want to give you just a quick example. I mentioned a minute ago about the way that we treat each other. How is this possible? How could it be real that human beings can treat each other this way? So, Frida, come. Up. I've got my dog out here at the park. So, for example, I was backing out of my parking spot after having picked up something from the supermarket. Now, I drive a big truck. I've got a couple of blind spots on this truck. And it's not always easy navigating tight spaces like parking spots and things. Anyway, I didn't see the guy coming to my left as I was backing out of this parking spot. Very innocent mistake to make. I wasn't outwardly trying to inconvenience anyone, but I hear this horn just laying down like 3.5 second long horn, and it's this person behind me that I didn't see, and he's just laying on his horn like I had just hit his child or something. And I immediately stopped and pulled back into the parking spot because clearly I was not aware of this vehicle's presence. And I look at my rear view, and this guy rolls his window down, and he just starts yelling and throwing his hands up in these obviously like, offensive gestures. And I'm just sitting there, and I'm observing me going from this place of just, sort of innocuous innocence. I'm just trying to get out of this parking lot and back to my house. And this person's reaction to my, I guess I should have checked my mirrors or looked around me a little bit more. Sure. I understand that. But my point is that the way that I was treated by the stranger did not justify, or was not justified. My actions, my oversight didn't warrant that kind of response from a total stranger. And this guy just he ruined my moment, and I look, we are all responsible for the way we react in the world. So the way that I reacted to him is my choice. And I talk a lot about that. I talk a lot about how we all have a choice in how we react in the world. But even, there is a moment when you don't get to choose sometimes. And so when someone comes at me like that with this really harsh, angry energy, it doesn't seem real. How bad is your day that you're gonna just pillory someone for the innocent mistake of having not checked every one of their 360 degrees around their vehicle. And I was not I darted out either. It was I was backing out slowly from the parking spot. Anyway, that's just one example. And there's a lot more like them. And my point is that there seems to be this increasing frequency of unbelievable events, and they're small events and they're big events. They're, big headlines, they're small interactions. And I'm just finding myself just gobsmacked and bewildered by how this world continues to function and how we continue to treat each other. And it's very concerning, and I know that at the end of the day, all I can really do is take care of myself and the way I react and the way I go about the world, the way I comport myself, my own behavior. It's all within my... I should only be focusing on what I can control. I understand that. But I also can't help but notice just how increasingly bizarre things continue to be in this world. And so I just wanted to make this video because I know I'm not alone. And I'd be curious if any of you are experiencing this. If I'm isolated and if I'm slowly going crazy, that I'd like to know that, But if the world really truly is becoming more and more insane and detached from reason, that's a problem, and it makes me wonder what do we do about this? Anyway, if this is a fever dream and there is no waking up from it, all we can really do is adapt and overcome. We have the power within ourselves to band with other people who think like we do and to share our perspectives and just try to make good choices. I think that's really it. But I just want to make a video to kind of vent a little bit, but also reach out and just say, look, if you're sensing that this is the case, you're not alone, because I know I'm sensing it. And we're in this together. That's kind of the last thing I want to say here is that, wherever and however things are going, we are a human team. Right? The human species should be acting as a team, lifting each other up, helping each other through things. That's the way I see it. And if you're watching this and you're concerned about the future of things, you're not alone. Anyway, thanks for watching. I hope you guys have a great day. Take care of yourselves and each other. I'll see you in the next one. Bye.